Okay, so everybody watch the movies, watch the shows, caught up?
Pretty much. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So at least we're all caught up because spooky season is coming to an end, so we're going to finish things up with our spooky season. So
Cheers.
Welcome, everyone, to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me once again is King Hamster Pellet himself, my Ike Chiavo.
My Ike?
Me Ike.
Me Ike?
Me Ike.
What's shaking?
Yeah, me Ike.
Me Ike? Great Bulgarian Miak.
There you go. And
Keep the trolls away.
And as per usual, the family man himself, James Haynes.
Hello, everybody.
Yep. So now with spooky season wrapping up, we've got very little to talk
Here.
about, but I want to start off because thankfully we don't have any wrestling.
Yeah.
So, because
No.
there's no pay-per-views, no PLEs.
No, although
Unless you want to
on,
count Halloween Havoc, but no.
Not really.
on this past Dynamite, the Young Bucks, which I thought was shocking as hell to me, dropped the title to Private Party. So now Private Party is the new AEW Tag Team Champions. And supposedly Young Bucks are going to take a break for a while because they've been like nonstop for like years.
Yeah.
And I don't mind them being on TV. I like them as heels, but they held on to the belts for way too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you figure the Bloodline just lost the titles on SmackDown to
Machine Guns.
What is it, Motor City Machine Guns? Which
Formerly in TNA.
Yeah, which 2 matches back to back for them. So it was a real nice thing. But
Yeah.
I've noticed that you can find stuff online. WWE, since both shows are 2 hours, they're recording episodes in advance.
Yeah.
So
back
stuff
to
is
that
getting
again.
leaked, including the fact that Rhea Ripley is actually injured.
Again?
Orbital bone fracture.
How?
Headbutting Liv Morgan.
Yeah, and they actually...
First off, Liv is like what, 5'5", 5'6", if she's lucky?
I'm going to say about 5'4".
5'4". And Rhea's got to be close to 6 feet, if not over.
No.
Rhea's not how tall is
it's the heels.
Yep.
How tall is she, though?
She's at least 5'8".
Yeah, I would say
She's
about
at least
5'8".
2 inches tall. And what is she, get on her knees and headbutt her?
No. She just wham, like slammed at first.
She thinks that she's Drew McIntyre.
Well,
But basically, they've put this gimmick more on NXT because you see Rhea
Rhea
at the car, and Dom and Liv going inside holding a steel pole. You're wondering why, and then you see why.
yeah, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan attack. So Rhea has orbital bone fracture, so she's going to be out for a while. But we do know you can compete with the orbital bone
Yeah.
fracture. We've seen the Undertaker do it with the mask.
Yeah, but
Same
it's
thing
just
with
like she's
Cody
been out
Rhodes.
so long with her shoulder,
Yeah.
and now this, like, the girl can't catch a break.
Yeah, but at least it's a different injury and
Yeah,
it's not a
not
re-injury.
We also found out during the NXT Halloween Havoc and everything that the ECW arena has been given a facelift and is now being called the 2300 because they are going to have some NXT shows
Yeah.
there, including Nunzio, Dawn Marie, and the man, Hall of Famer himself, Bubba Bully Ray Dudley.
Yeah. Now that's the thing. There's been a lot of stuff that's going on WWE wise as well because I think they're actually going to start selling because they're going to have Damian Priest wearing like the mask again. So they're going to start pushing for mask sales, which, great marketing push. But I'm glad that we're going into November because now that it's November, in the movie theaters, there should be an anime movie that I want to see, which would be the Overlord movie, which would take place after season 4 of the anime. And Overlord is a phenomenal anime where basically guys playing like an online MMO, but it's like fully immersive with like the headgear and stuff, where basically his favorite game is shutting down. He falls asleep while playing because it's over. So he's like, I'll wake up. I got a business meeting in the morning. Yeah, he wakes up in his character and he's playing an undead skeleton mage. So when he wakes up, the entirety of the area that he was in, along with all the NPC characters that his friends and him made, they're all alive and they're all in this other world. So he basically thinks they all think he's a genius. They think he's evil. and they think he wants to actually take over the world.
Doesn't he?
Well,
Doesn't everybody?
He made a comment that it kind of like leaves it to, but he's more interested in thinking maybe some of his friends were there or some other players, so trying to find them. But it's really like he has to role play that he is this great evil guy. Otherwise, he's afraid that the NPCs are all going to turn on him. Meanwhile, they all worship him. They think little things he comes up with, it's like he says one thing, they take it off into such a tangent that it's like, oh, he's a genius. Like, no. He literally just threw
Made it
shit.
up.
It's like he didn't even think through anything. He's like running off of what they do. But each one of the NPCs has like, they're all like demonic looking characters because they're all evil.
Right.
So it's one of those things to see, like this one is now, he's like taking over a kingdom and everything. So we're going to get the movie where you're going to see like a whole bunch of stuff that's going to take place, which I'm looking forward to. And there was the trailer for it right before My Hero Academia, your next movie.
Okay.
So, yeah, and should be hitting the theaters, which I'm definitely looking forward to because there's not a lot that's really making me want to run to the theaters.
Yeah, not too much on the horizon.
No, I mean, most of the stuff is going to be online. What is it? I just saw the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it for Star Wars Skeleton Crew coming out in December on Disney Plus.
No.
Yes.
It's basically a bunch of kids find the spaceship and they end up leaving the planet, and it's a skeleton crew of the kids.
I haven't, like I know the
Yeah.
I know the like the premise. I haven't seen the trailer.
The trailer looks really cool. It looks like it's going to be a fun, like, kids style thing. So I know there's going to be a bunch of people butthurt and be like, this isn't for me. It's like,
That's
it's
supposed to be.
it's kids.
Right.
Shot too.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say that I saw, which it made me think and realize, Agatha All Along is basically the Acolyte with music.
Yeah.
Because you've got a sibling looking for their missing sibling. You've got like the teacher, all these different like wizards like battling and stuff. So it's a whole big thing, and it really does come out. And I want to jump right into Agatha All Along.
Please.
So now, what did you guys think of the twists and turns? Because it's over, so we are going spoilers.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what did you think? So
I went into it not really knowing the backstory of Agatha or Wiccan or any of that. I just went off of what I saw in WandaVision.
Yep.
But, you know, the twist at the end of WandaVision when it was Agatha all along, I was like, oh, I want to see what happens now when she got the spell put on her. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The twists at the end, especially after they got on the road, you were like, holy crap. The reverse card. I was like, no, don't do it. And she falls on the knives. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, which
But,
it worked out.
It worked out.
And the funny part is, that one airs right around right after we go and we have a tarot reading.
We do.
So
Yeah. Spooky.
yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. It leads into, what is it, Vision Quest? Or
Yeah.
White Vision, we'll call it?
Yeah, it's like the
Vision
White.
Quest?
I think. Did they
Basically,
give a title for
I
it
think
yet?
it's Vision Quest.
I think
Yeah.
right now we're going to say it's Vision.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's Vision. It's going to be his white form because if you follow in the comics, it's his green body with the red face, yellow, and then like in the
With the gem.
War,
Yeah.
the gem leaves, and then he turns all white as he goes to the West Coast Avengers, and then he's brought back to full color.
Well, this is just to not even complicate it
Yeah.
as much. It's
Yeah.
basically they rebuilt Vision.
They rebuilt Vision, yeah.
So it's like
And-
only without the gem.
And they're also
Yeah.
doing Wonder Man in 25.
Yes.
Which that looks like it's going to be interesting.
Yes, that could be his brother. The brother end of things. They can make him Wonder Man.
No.
No, Simon, what do you call is a whole different.
Yeah,
I
completely.
know. Well, originally in the comics, Wonder Man had a Vision's essence inside of him.
But they're keeping it separate. They don't look like they're going to get that convoluted because the fact that they're even doing Wonder Man, and I mean, let's face it, it has a nice tie-in with the Iron Man franchise.
Yeah.
So because it's on like a movie set, that looks like it's going to be a fun ride. But when looking at WandaVision specifically going into Agatha All Along, the tie-ins were great to see, like, and really playing it up. and finding out that it wasn't Agatha all along.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was Wiccan all along.
But that doesn't have the same.
No.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as
No.
well.
But that's the thing. It's like they gave you everything at episode 8, and then once you got to episode 9, and you get to see Agatha's like backstory of why she was doing it. She was killing all of the witches off to sacrifice them to death to save and buy more time for her son.
Right.
And the one time her son chooses to not let her kill any of the witches, that's the day that Rio takes him, and that's when Nicholas is gone.
Just looking up real quick the cast so far for Wonder Man.
Yeah.
We have Yahya Abdullah Mateen II. He was in
Sorry for slaughtering the name.
Please. He was in Aquaman. He played Black Manta, and he was also in The Greatest Showman. We have Ben Kingsley coming back as Trevor Slatter.
Yes.
And
That's
we
why I
have-
said that's the tie-in.
Yeah, and we have
with,
Ed Harris.
Yep.
Shang-Chi, too.
Yeah. So
And that's all they released so far.
yeah, and that's the thing. Right now, they want to keep it under wraps, and I kind of want to keep it as low. Like I don't want to know too much about it, because it should be an interesting thing to see where that goes.
I mean, they're putting Disney Plus and Marvel is put together from now until whenever in 2025 a good lineup.
Now, there is one thing I do have to say, and I mean, while I was at Exxxotica, which I'm trying to edit the interviews that I did get, but I did have a conversation with April O'Neil about, and she said something that I thought was very interesting, which was, like, the streaming platforms need to know which shows should be binge shows and dump everything at once,
Right.
and other shows that should be
Episodic. Yeah.
one per week, or even with like drop like 3 episodes 1 week and then like a week later drop, because you figure Amazon's done that where the first season starts, they give you 3 episodes in one shot, and then they break it up week to week.
Same thing with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Did too.
But like the Legend of Vox Machina, they did 3 episode drop per week. So which it
Was
worked.
it all on the same day? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like Thursday, you go and you'd watch, got episode 1, 2, and 3. Next week you got 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
So that worked. The same way like we've said in the past, like when we talked about Fallout.
Yeah.
Where Fallout, it felt like it was a show, like it was cool to have everything at once, but at the same time, if they would have spaced it out,
It would have been
Exactly.
better.
because that was a show like pacing wise, especially when you don't know anything about the games or what's going on, having it come out 1 per week.
Right. It also makes it ups the factor because, like I said before, an episode that comes out once a week. Okay, this is what happened. It gives you time to process it. Go back and watch it again. Find stuff you didn't see.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the chance to fill in the blanks. Okay, what's going to happen here? Well, because of this,
Yeah.
it can go this way or it can go that way, and then it builds up your expectations and the excitement. And then the next episode drop, and you can be like, "Oh, I was right," or like, "Holy shit, didn't see that one coming."
Yeah, because like right now, I mean, when you take a look, typically you get either a full dump or you get a partial
dump.
Partial.
or it goes week to week.
Yeah, which
but
is-
they're
I'm
trying.
fine with
They're
week to
trying to
week.
figure it out, and like I like the fact that they did half of the season for Cobra Kai. They dropped half of it, and now November rolls around. We're going to get the rest of the final season. Before, which I think supposedly there's been an announcement that the movie that's coming out with Machio and
Jackie
Jackie
Chan.
Chan, that's going to be a tie-in with both. So
It'd
it's
be interesting.
yeah, so it's the Universal like full merge,
Right.
but doesn't look like we're going to get Johnny in the movie. So, which I would prefer Johnny being in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to be in it, at least make reference to him somewhere.
Which I think they will, considering it's supposed to be on like the same universe.
If it's on, again, it should be on the same universe because if Machio's coming back playing Daniel,
Yeah.
unless it's like his doppelganger or it's another.
No, it's still a
Just make
LaRusso.
reference. Just make a
Yeah.
reference to him.
And what
Oh,
do you call
with
it?
Johnny.
It's
He's-
Miyagi.
Yeah.
Right. know, with Johnny, oh, he's over in New York or whatever. Just make a reference.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's somewhere else.
So, but that's the thing. So there's that. But back to Agatha all along, it's like that final thing of seeing Agatha sacrificing herself for Wiccan, and then
come back as a
as a
voice.
ghost.
The ghost, and she had the white hair,
Yeah.
just like the characters. It's
Because
just-
in the comics, the funny part is she's Franklin Richards' nanny.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
If you looked at everything in his room when he came home,
oh yeah,
it's like the Wizard of Oz, the road.
yeah. He
all those
created
little Easter eggs.
Yeah,
he
he created
created
it all.
everything. It was all in his room.
And then he sealed the door behind him.
And
Yeah.
you see still the movie, the record album on the wall.
Yeah, because
It's like-
he basically created the Witch's
road,
Road from what was essentially a con. Because Agatha was doing that to kill
Right.
all these witches.
And get their power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but also to sacrifice to Rio.
Right.
Or Lady Death.
Lady Death.
Which Aubrey Plaza looked phenomenal
Yes.
as
Yeah.
Lady Death.
She looked like basically like in the comics and everything.
Well,
in the green
I'm
cloak.
I'm just hoping that we can get Josh Brolin's Thanos along with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Trying to fight over her?
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Because let's face it, it's been the big thing in the comics for like the longest time. And why wouldn't you fight over Aubrey Plaza?
Yeah.
Well, they're also making a Deadpool Christmas special.
Which I think is a phenomenal idea.
hysterical.
Because
Why
after
not?
we've already gotten a Guardians holiday special.
Why not give him a holiday
tool,
special?
baby.
You know what? Deadpool 2, Once Upon a Deadpool kind of was a holiday special
Yeah.
because it was the PG cut,
It was the PG cut, which was interesting to see.
but it worked so well because having like Fred Savage in the
yeah.
bed
Yeah.
and the entire
It looked
recreated.
exactly the same.
Yeah, they created the whole thing. And it's like, and then seeing Fred Savage like fanboy out over Cable.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, we did none of those things. So now, overall, though, 9 episodes, Agatha all along. I think this was one of the best of the Disney Plus Marvel shows that's come out in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do we have stuff to look forward to? Absolutely.
Yes.
Daredevil Born Again
Yep.
looks like it's gonna be good, especially knowing that they had to go back and fix because they realized it wasn't working what they were doing before.
Yeah.
So having to reshoot. Now, because we are on the topic of Marvel, though, there's been like somewhat of a thing going around about lawsuit from Tatiana Maslany, who is She-Hulk,
Yes.
suing over Ryan Reynolds. She was supposed to be in Deadpool and Wolverine,
Okay.
but her scenes got cut
Okay.
because it supposedly didn't fit the pacing.
Okay.
So, but she's upset with the fact because they're refusing to even put it in like an extended cut.
Okay, but coming from the filmmaker point of view, it looked good on paper. We shot it. When you put everything together, not everything will work.
Well, the thing is, from what they're trying to say is that her sequences
Right.
didn't have the same energy from like everyone else, like Gambit, Elektra,
Okay.
Blade, and I can understand why they would cut it.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're gonna spend all that time and money to put it in, might as well give it to us
Yeah,
in
but
an
if-
extended cut.
But if it didn't work, it didn't work. And
Okay,
now
but-
here's my question. She got paid for this, correct?
Probably, I
And she
would
had-
assume.
Then you know
Wait,
what?
if she's suing?
Yeah, no. You got paid for your service. Thank you very much. That footage is now mine. I own it. I gave you money.
But the
It
thing,
didn't work.
But
That's
you
the
also,
end of it.
but you have to realize too, it's like this is a big credit for her because they weren't making a She-Hulk
Right.
movie.
I understand that, but you know that's the nature of the game. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
But we don't know if it doesn't fit because we're only hearing about it. So
And we didn't know where they were going to put it in.
Yeah.
the movie.
Right. But again, that is the director's call. Okay, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
It didn't fit.
But-
don't cry about it.
but this is the thing. When you're gonna, once we now know about it, don't you want to see it? Isn't there a little bit of curiosity?
Yeah, fine. A little bit of curiosity, but at the same time, don't pitch a bitch and say, "Oh, I want to see you because my scene got cut." That opens the door for everybody who gets a cut.
I don't
scene.
think it's about a scene being cut. Because let's face it, everybody's been shitting on She-Hulk.
I don't know why. That was a great show. I liked it.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It was people were crapping on it for no reason.
Exactly.
You know, like, was it irreverent, stupid, funny? Yes. But She-Hulk in the comics
Was the
is
same thing.
stupid, funny. She was never like the.
She was never a serious character.
Her and Deadpool are the characters that break the fourth wall.
Right.
So it made sense. And having her in it, I kind of want to see
It would have been fun to see her having a little bit of banter with Deadpool.
Yeah, but it's also, you remember, we've said this too about, like, when it comes to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers went and they took a look and they were like, oh, you know what? We've got the Batgirl movie.
Let's shit
we'll
on it.
shelve it.
You shelve it forever.
We'll shelve it. It's going to be, it's basically a tax write-off.
Yeah, but we'll release the Flash.
Not just the Flash. Look at some of the other movies that they've released. That it's like Aquaman 2.
Yeah, I was trying to forget that one.
Me too.
But Aquaman 2, The Flash, which if you would have spent so much money on The Flash and you would have made probably more money with Batgirl.
Oh, without a doubt.
But they went and they've picked and they chose stuff. They canceled the Wile E. Coyote movie that they were doing where it was Wile E. Coyote suing like Acme.
Yes, because everything he bought didn't work.
Yeah, and it's like,
That would have been great.
yeah, but you're shelving that to put out what? There's a bunch of things that the studios are doing things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we can have these discussions about it. And look, Tatiana Maslany, like, suing, and I'm sorry if I screwed up her name,
Yeah.
but it's
You can always come on a show and
yes.
tell us happening.
Or you can email Dan at
DragoonsLairPodcast at gmail.com. It's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's DragoonsLairPodcast at gmail.com.
And she wasn't the only one that was that did scenes for the movie. She did this. Maslany did her scenes with Hugh Jackman because it's supposed to be like Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
But also, they had Brie Larson do some scenes, but that was also cut, and she's not pissing and moaning.
And the thing is, though, I would like to see it. And the thing
Yeah.
is, too, think about what we've already gotten with Deadpool and Deadpool 2. We got extended cuts that added the stuff in. Disney, now that it's under the Disney banner, it's like they don't want to do that, which I'm like, no.
Why? That's where you get more
do
money
it.
from.
Yeah, it's the problem is Disney's pushing, it seems like, more for digital only. I think they announced, what is it, like Deadpool and Wolverine comes to Disney Plus in like December.
It should be coming soon.
November, I thought.
Like probably
November
like
12th.
like November, December. It's one of those things where Disney's making some decisions that even I don't understand, because you would think, put more stuff in, give us the opportunity, release it, make sure we get to see these scenes, because this is where we want to see the stuff. I mean, when you actually take a look and think about it, like Agatha All Along, they did so much great stuff there that it's like, we're never going to get to own it. We're not going to get to see like any bonus behind the scenes stuff because they don't want to release physical media anymore.
Well, they did release WandaVision down the line, like maybe a year or two later.
Yeah,
WandaVision
barely.
and-
But they've made it clear they don't want to do that for the series.
November 12th, Deadpool Wolverine on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Okay. So at least we got something to look forward to, not have to pay anything extra than the Disney Plus subscription to watch it. Because pretty much now it's like a lot of stuff is on Amazon Prime, but it's all rental.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, some of it's not worth the rental.
No.
The Crow remake,
Yeah, no,
not worth it's not worth it.
I'll wait for her to dollar bin and then maybe buy it.
No, if it's wait till it's for free and then take it. When
you buy a pack of gum, have the Crow.
that's pretty much what it felt like for that one.
I was just joking, by the way. I will not watch that.
No, listen, I watched it and I wanted to. I was like, fast forward. It's not worth it. It's Brandon Lee's Crow is.
Still
That's it.
phenomenal.
It's standalone. They shouldn't.
If you're gonna do another Crow movie, it
was
needs.
it Eric Draven?
Yes.
See that?
Even
That was the
Ernie-
problem.
No. Okay.
Even
if you
Ernie
want,
Hudson said they should not have made this
no.
movie.
If
No.
you want to make other Crow films, don't make it Eric Draven.
Yeah, and that's what they did with all the other ones.
Right. It wasn't Eric. It wasn't as
City
good
of
as the-
Angels, Salvation, Wicked Prayer.
Yeah. All good standalone films. Decent standalone film. But when you were comparing it to the original Crow.
Well, no, it's like City of Angels actually wasn't.
It wasn't bad.
No, that wasn't that bad.
No, the rest of them.
Salvation.
Salvation was the one with Furlong.
Eric Mabius
Mabius,
and Kirsten Dunst.
Right.
Getting to see Kirsten Dunst's mouth get sewn shut.
Yeah.
It's I'm okay with that movie. It was Wicked Prayer where they just kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, it went. That was the one with David Boreanaz, Tara Reid, and
Ed Furlong.
and oh fuck, what's his name?
Rampage. What was it?
No, not Rampage.
Well, no, they had an MMA fighter in there.
No, not him. He
Not Chuck Liddell.
what the hell? Oh shit, Fred, not Fred. Fred, no, not Fred Gwynn. He's Herman Munster.
No,
What the hell's his name? He was in Tremors.
Super Mario Brothers. He was the villain.
Oh, that's Dennis Hopper.
No. Yeah.
Not Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper was in it.
But they also did one with oh, what the fuck is his name? I see his face. He was in Tremors, and it's not Kevin Bacon.
No, that was in.
Fred
That was
something.
That was in Salvation.
That was Salvation.
That was Salvation.
I gotta find this. It's Fred something. I know that much.
Yeah,
he recently passed away.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh, speaking of passed away, moment of silence for Terry Garr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Mom's mom.
Yeah,
Mom.
that
was a funny movie.
Yeah, people are dropping like flies, and it's one of those things where we're losing celebrities.
Tito Ortiz.
Tito Ortiz, yes, that was the MMA fighter.
Yup.
Yeah, as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Oh God. Yeah, when it comes down to it, like Wicked Prayer, like went off the rails. I like the fact that it did keep with like the Native American traditions, though.
Fred Ward.
Huh?
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Yeah.
He was like the psycho cop with the
Yeah.
scar on his arm.
Yeah, with the subdermal implants.
yep.
That was like, but that was Salvation.
Yeah. Okay. I knew he was in one of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I know he wasn't in Wicked Prayer because
Yeah. They after.
Wicked Prayer was the one that wasn't in the box set for the DVDs. You got one City of Angels, and then Wicked Prayer was
You
not
kind of
out.
jumped over that one.
Yeah,
Like,
that one was like.
Guys, we're gonna forget about. We're gonna use that as a tax write-off, guys.
Yeah, we came up with a box set before this
Yeah.
one came out, and we're not going to include it.
Guys, not enough room in the box. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, since we're wrapping up spooky season, let's go and talk about the Salem's Lot.
Okay.
The new Salem's Lot. Now, Stephen King's movies, whenever they adapt stuff, it either works or it doesn't work.
Right.
And there's usually they got to change certain things. I have to say, one thing that I did like about this one was they went back to making vampires.
That look
They
like
tried to make
Nosferatu.
them scary. They gave them a little more of an edge to them, and they weren't all sparkly. They're literally hiding from the sun.
Good.
So these are vampires. Although I have to say, one of the funniest elements is the glowing crosses.
Yes.
When the crosses are in front of them, they start glowing.
The crosses start glowing.
Yeah, the crosses start to glow the faith and power, it's coming out. It's just
The power of Christ compels you.
pretty much it was one of the goofiest things in there.
But did it work?
It did.
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Barely. Because the funny part
if
was
it worked, it worked.
no, because at first you've got the light up one that's the bigger cross, that they took off the wall. That one made sense to that it would start
Right.
glowing. But it was when they go and they're taking the tongue depressors and tying them together and making a cross
You
that
made me
way.
see the big ass cross that says Jesus lives being used.
Yeah, it's but
From the
this was
hotel.
just nope. You're
That's almost as good as in the scene from Dusk Till Dawn when they filled up the super soakers.
oh yeah, with the holy water.
Just a blast. But that was the one with Dennis Miller, right? He walks in with two big super soakers filled of
No,
holy
that's
water.
Bordello of Blood.
Yeah, that was Bordello of Blood.
Well, I don't want to happen to
That
one
was
of them.
No, 'cause
Tales
he-
from the Crypt.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, because from Dusk Till Dawn.
Was Tarantino and
Clooney.
George Clooney.
Yeah, but they made a sequel to that too.
Yes.
They made 3 of them, I think.
Well, what
think
was
they
it?
made a
Robert.
series, too.
There was a
Robert
series.
Patrick.
Yeah, Robert Patrick.
I think he was in the second one. And Bon Jovi was in the third one.
Yeah, and there's actually a cameo in the second one at the very beginning with Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Yeah, Bruce Campbell, and I think Tiffany Amber Thiessen inside an elevator getting attacked. Yeah. It's like they're both they're in the elevator, they're getting attacked. It's a fun little cameo getting to see Bruce Campbell in there. But yeah, no. So this one though, I nenever read the book. And I didn't see the prequel, like the previous, made for TV ones.
To it, or just a straight redo?
No, it's like previous versions. Yes. They like redid it.
Okay.
It's the same way like they took The Shining that Kubrick did, and they went and they said, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna make it into a mini series on television, and that one worked because it looked more like the actual book
and expanded it more.
Yeah, the same thing with The Stand, even though The Stand was 4 nights originally in, what was it, late 90s?
Yes.
And now then they went and they did the series of like...
Gary Sinise in that one, and Whoopi Goldberg is in the new one.
Yeah. So
like
then they went...
It's the same way. You had James McAvoy.
But they did change... But remember, like with it, they changed it.
Yeah.
So they changed the entire pacing.
They basically expanded it and changed it more.
Well, because you figure in the original made-for-TV version with Tim Curry, they went like the book where it went back and forth through time.
Right.
So it was like you got to see the kids in like the 50s and going into like the 80s as adults, where now the new one, it was like they took the entire first movie, made that all the kids, and then they went and did the adults, even though they have flashbacks to some things. But they expanded more of it with the second part.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's certain elements that weren't in the original, like the entire thing with, like, the turtle and, what was it, what was that? The entire, like, thing they had to do, the ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, like, there was a lot of stuff. Stephen King's books... for a good chunk of it, because of his substance addiction, I think don't end well.
Yeah. It was probably coming down.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of documentaries that you can watch about like Stephen King's books and stuff being made into movies, but I think this one, for what it was, it had a cheesy element to it, but the new Salem's Lot worked.
Yeah, it was a lot more. It was more scarier than the original.
Yeah, I mean, the original was, I think, a made-for-TV, like,
it had
miniseries.
David Soul, Lance Kerwin was in it.
Now, Jimmy, did you watch the original one? Because I didn't.
Absolutely.
And now,
I watched it before this. That's why I look forward to it.
So what was, like, the some of the changes that were made?
Well, let's put it this way. The drive-in was not in the original.
Okay.
And that was cute when it's like, hey, wait a minute here. They're starting to come to light. We got to do something here. And the kid goes, oh, I got an idea. Takes the whole movie screen out.
Yeah.
But no, in the house was the first with David Soul and Lance Kerwin and everything. And they had where Mike was digging the graves. Both were in the same ones and everything. I don't know if anybody realized, but the guy digging the graves in the new version, that's the kid from Gladiator.
The son?
Yep. That's
All
the
right.
son from Gladiator. And there's Spencer Tree Clark.
Okay, yeah, because I know, like, they try to, like, put some of the Easter eggs in and stuff, but they also try to go a little more faithful to the book at times for certain things that they can nowadays, especially because now you can do so much more.
You add more visual effects and everything. I mean, it's like...
Well, the drive-in, I know, I believe was part of the book.
Yeah, but they didn't put it in the book, but now they
didn't do it the original first time. I think this is like the third time that they've redone Salem's Lot.
Well, they did Salem's Lot, Return to Salem's Lot, and now it's the redo. The redo.
Yeah. So, I mean, Salem's Lot, like, I like the vampire aspect because we haven't seen too much good vampire stuff lately.
Yeah.
I mean, they went from being scary vampires to then sparkly vampires.
What did you think of John Carpenter's vampires?
Oh, that was good. Interesting and good.
It was okay. It wasn't
What didn't do it for you?
You know what it was? It's not as memorable as some of the other John Carpenter ones.
Okay.
And vampires, it was like that one to me just didn't catch my attention as much. Like, James Woods is great and a lot of stuff, but this was one of those things where I was just like, it felt a little too much. It just wasn't for me.
I liked his one-liners in there.
Now, yeah, you can have a lot of great one-liners, but when it comes to it, it's like there's certain things where it's just like I don't know how to explain like when it's just not for you,
Right.
and you feel that disconnect from it, even though you're looking forward to it. I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. I love a lot of the stuff that he's done. He's been ahead of his time and cutting edge with a lot of stuff where didn't make money in the theaters as much as it should have.
But it went on to become cult classics on film.
Yes.
Yeah, but when it came to vampires, I felt like vampires was like kind of like, how would I, the best way I can say for me is like Mel Brooks towards the end run when you got to after Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay.
When he did Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Okay.
Not as good.
No.
It just,
No.
it was like
It didn't live up to the rest of his work.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't live up to the resume.
Yeah, it's like there's an expectation, and it was just like, yeah, it felt like it was. This was
He had
like
an off day.
Yeah, it was not his best work.
Okay.
You
I
know?
mean, I enjoyed it.
It was kind of like John. It was like John Carpenter's like Ghost of Mars.
Oh,
I
yes,
don't like
with
that
Ice
one.
Cube.
That
Not
one,
a fan.
it had a Doom feel to it.
Yeah, but that's why, like, to me, those were like towards the end run
Yeah.
of like him making movies.
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah, they're there, but they're just,
It's missing something.
yeah.
Getting a
Like Good Story.
Yeah, it was missing the special sauce.
Oh yeah.
I think also some of it was the casting.
Yeah. Okay.
Because John Carpenter's vampires had like a good cast, but I feel like there could have been like some replacements in there.
Who would you replace?
That's the problem. Like, it's so forgettable.
What do you
Well, I know
Well, Dracula
Thomas
was
Ian. Thomas Ian Griffin was the head vampire.
Yes.
You had James Woods, and you had one of the Baldwin brothers.
Yeah. I think it was Daniel.
Daniel Baldwin.
Yeah, and
Sherry Headley was the
I would replace.
The chick that she got turned into a vampire.
I'd replace the Baldwin. I'd replace
Okay.
James Woods.
Okay.
It's just like I said. Like, there was just certain elements of it that it just wasn't there. And that's the thing. I mean, when you take a look at somebody's resume, like John Carpenter, and you go and you have movies like he did with They Live. They Live was perfect casting.
Yep.
And it holds up to this very day.
I saw that a couple of years ago at Alamo.
Yeah.
When they just, I think they brought it out just for the hell of it.
Yeah, sometimes they bring out
Yeah.
like a classic as a redo. I like when the theaters do that every now and then, of giving you like an older movie. You come back, you get to see it. It's one of those things where it gives you that little element
Yeah.
of like, if you didn't get to see it
Nostalgia.
when you were a kid,
Here's
now
your
you get a
chance.
chance to
Right.
see it on a big screen. You know, I think we kind of did that with the film club at CSI,
Yes.
which was we were showing movies on the big screen, like that maybe people didn't get a chance to see. That's why, like, did Masters of the Universe. That one was my call. But when Jason
Rock and Roll High School.
yeah, but when Jason Simon called Superman, Richard
Schlock.
Donner's Superman schlock, I knew we weren't getting a fair shake at
Yeah, no.
anything.
Yeah.
No.
So but then again, this is a guy who thought that showing weird artsy films where, you're putting mayonnaise on
Bands and dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
People
10
walk-
minutes of that, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm done.
people walked out because they were highly offended.
I couldn't eat a tuna fish sandwich with mayonnaise for like 2 months after that.
Yeah, well, it was pretty terrible.
Oh, it was very terrible.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Let's face it. The three of us have all taken film classes at CSI.
Yes.
There were good professors. There were bad professors.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and I'm not afraid to call it out, Jason Simon was not one of the good ones.
No, he definitely.
And I don't think they also understood the concept of, you want to make art house movies, it's all well and good. No, I'm not going to tell you.
Hey,
like,
if that's your thing, go for it.
but there's also a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
You want to struggle for your career, make art house movies.
Yep.
You want to go and make money, you're going to want to be like the Russo brothers. You're going to want to make things that are commercially viable. And that's the thing that I feel like they completely missed the mark on back when we were taking film classes was some professors encouraged, like Dave Geary, he encouraged,
great. I liked his class.
he encouraged, like, but he would give you a criticism where you thought you had the best thing, and that he was like, well, it would be better if you would have gone for a close-up here and you would have taken like a pan shot here. He gave constructive criticism.
And he was good, and he was worth it.
He was worth it.
Yeah.
With Gary, it was like, okay, you had a good idea. You needed to work on your execution.
Yep.
Instead of doing A, B, and C, do E, F, and G. And he goes, and in my opinion, that would work better. And
Yep.
I did a for my my final. I did a video of Highway to Hell.
Okay.
I think it was. No. You Shook Me All Night Long.
Okay.
And I spliced in, it was me and like 3 other people pantomiming one night with the instruments, and I was cutting in scenes from film with just people making out. And I used a scene at the end of Army of Darkness where Ash kisses the girl. I had other stuff put in there, and one of the first things I did was from in the beginning of Back to School when Rodney's going through the shower thinking it's the fraternity,
Yeah.
when it's the sorority house, and he opened up the shower on the woman, and there she was. So he was giving criticism, and he was like, okay, he goes, I want to hear what you guys have to say. And one guy was like, I think you should have had more boobs in it. And Gary goes, thank God you said that first. I agree.
And see that
I was like,
Listen,
more boobs,
Dave
got
Gary
it.
is recognized by the through the Black Mariah Film Festival, which is given a fund from the Academy of Motion Pictures Art and Sciences.
Yep.
He can say whatever he wants.
and that's the thing.
And he's good with it.
But that's the thing. He knew what he was talking
Right.
about,
Yep.
and his criticisms were constructive.
Yep.
Unlike Jason Simon, who it
He was
was
like, this sucked.
Yeah.
Why? Tell me why.
This,
No,
it's like this is schlock. It's like, really?
Why?
You have no basis whatsoever. You're pushing like, no, this needed to be an art house project. It's like,
Well, then tell me what it needed to do to become an art house project.
yeah, and that's the thing nowadays.
You need to add more flowers.
Yeah.
What are you, Bob Ross?
Yeah, the thing is, nowadays, most kids don't need to go to film school
No, they don't.
to learn how to make film. And I'm somebody who I agree with that because, unfortunately, you can go to film school, I would recommend for getting the basics. Once you understand how to work the camera,
How to do the
understand
editing.
to learn editing. You want to learn like sound design and stuff. Learn the
Right,
actual
get the foundation,
Yeah,
go out and
because
that.
you can study it on your own, watching videos on YouTube and stuff, but it's not the same thing as having someone there to help guide
Right.
you. Plus, also, you have access to the equipment because you're taking classes as opposed to you got to spend your own money to buy all the stuff yourself.
I
Right.
tell
And if
you to
you
read
screw-
the books. Read the books too.
And if
Because
you
there's
screw
little
up
hidden-
after you get your own equipment, some people might get discouraged right away. Like, oh, I just wasted all this money.
Yeah.
Take the class.
Yeah, that's why I recommend taking the class, but it's not as essential.
No.
The main
It's an elective.
Yeah, but the main problem is too, it's also not a matter of what you're learning or how much you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And if you don't have the right connections, you're going to a school like the College of Staten Island versus NYU or UCLA,
Visual Arts.
you're not going to places where you're making those
Right.
connections. So that's why, our careers didn't take the way we thought they would.
You know what always
But we're
cracks-
doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing-
Hey, why not?
You can get lucky like Kevin Smith.
Yep.
Right place. He took the basics up in Canada, the film school, said screw it, came home.
But he also took a major risk on himself
yeah.
by selling off his comics and his DVD
And
collection.
everything.
Sold off his stuff to be able to go.
Right.
And he took that.
He took the right.
He took that leap.
You have to, I'm not saying it's not without risk.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, he took the risk. He wrote it himself. He got extremely lucky.
Yeah, but he also came up in a time which was the 90s where it was more, you had the movies like
Right.
Slackers and stuff where they had more of that feel. Nowadays, you can tell like the market's changed.
I think with the market, it comes around. Like everything comes
cycles.
around again. Yeah. Because, we're going to get tired of the action films. We're going to get tired of the superhuman films, all the action. And we're going to come back, okay, let's go back to let's go back to Clerks. Let's go back to Office Space.
But the problem-
Waiting, movies like that.
Yeah, the problem is though, because the sensibility of the times have changed, there are certain things you can't do again.
Yeah.
You know, try to tell the Breakfast Club again.
No.
No.
First off, those kids would be on their cell phones the entire
Without
day.
a doubt.
They wouldn't even talk to each other if they were, even if they showed up for detention.
They'll be texting each other from across the room.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, even if you try to be like, okay, dump your cell phones into into a box, the principal walks off
They
with.
still have the watch.
Yeah, they'd still have something. So it's not going to be the same thing. You would probably have a bigger joke of like all your phones, and then they're pulling out the secondary phone. It's like, nope, pull out
Everything.
the Switch, that pull out the PSP Portal, like everything.
Sounds like what they did to Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show.
Although I had a friend, he was a teacher, and he had a problem with everybody using cell phones and stuff in class. So he went out, bought himself a little frequency jammer,
Yep.
kept it in his book, and his computer was hardwired, so he didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi. Walked into the room, had it in his book bag, just turned it on.
Nobody's phone worked for the class.
Nobody's phone, and some people going like, "What the heck am I can't?" And he goes, "Their problem? No, no problem." And he was like, "My phone doesn't work." I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Wi-Fi is down."
Why are you using your phone in class?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of different things that can be done, but that's the thing. That's the times that keep changing. We can't sit there and think like, it's great to look back for the nostalgia.
Right.
But at the same time, we also have to understand that it's like the sensibilities have changed. You can't get away with a Porky's the same way that you could today.
Even Caddyshack, you can't get away with something like that.
Then that's the thing, like the irreverent comedies. It's hard to get away with like Mel Brooks's comedies.
Which is why the last one he did was
He did
History of the World Part 2, and people said it stunk.
Yeah, the series, which I didn't dislike, but I also thought that there wasn't as much substance there as from the original. And that's the thing. It's times have changed. Comedies changed. I mean, just look at the comedians like that we grew up watching. You're not going to get a modern day Sam Kinison.
No.
That'll
George
never
Carlin.
happen.
Or even Robin Williams.
But
No.
the thing is, we still have other comedians that are able, and if they're standing the test of time, like a Christopher Titus, who's already got so many specials under his belt.
Papa.
Yeah, you have so many different comedians that are making it work, and they know how to be funny. Then you got others that they just doing stupid jokes, and they're not funny. Nobody's punching
They're going
up
for the cheap laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's how many times can you hear somebody make a dick joke before?
Yeah.
It's like there's only so many times that you're going to hear that joke and then you're not going to find it funny. It's the same way. Like, you don't hear as much about Jeff Foxworthy anymore because it's a bunch of redneck jokes.
Yeah.
That it's like,
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy now is on series doing a show every week.
And that's the thing. We're not seeing them doing their stand-up anymore the way that they used to. You figure they had the Kings of Comedy tour, the Blue Collar Comedy tour,
The Latin Kings of Comedy, the Queens
of Comedy tour. So there were so many different ones, and we had so much to go through. And now it's like, there's too much.
Yep.
There's almost a sensory overload. And I mean, I needed like a palate cleanser from all of the spooky and watching horror constantly throughout the month that I watched Ali Wong's new comedy special on Netflix. And she's really funny.
Yeah.
But it's like most of her comedy specials, it's like if you watch them on Netflix, she was pregnant through almost all of them.
Yeah.
This one, it's like single again. So it's like now she got a divorce, so she has a bunch of new material. And she is hilarious. But it's just a matter of, I may find her funny, but somebody else isn't going to.
It's like Tracy Morgan. When he came back from his accident, he didn't come back and just like did skits and it's like little tidbits and everything. No, he came back and he used that accident as material.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
everything, which is
Chris Rock,
Yeah.
after the slap, he waited because he had one comedy show that was going on that it was already written. He was just doing that. Then he gets the special and ends the special. He built up the anticipation for it to then go off. And it was one of the funniest things that he could have done. And it was one of the smartest moves to do because he waited. We all wanted to know what he was going to say. So we all watched.
Yep.
That's the thing. his comedy's changed over the years. You notice Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, they're not
Dave
doing...
Chappelle.
Yeah, they don't do the same things that they used to. Why? Because it doesn't work in the age. The goalpost of what you would find funny at one point, it seems they've moved it like another 50 yards down. So now you got to keep reaching.
Right.
So it's like, oh, well, this was funny, but it was barely offensive then, is now extremely offensive and not funny. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? How do I correct this? Because you can look back at anyone.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, but you can even look James Gunn. Perfect example of somebody who he told irreverent jokes and stuff, tweeted them out. He was a different person when he tweeted them. What happened after Guardians 2? There was the Fox merger with Disney, and Disney fired him because they wanted to look squeaky clean, not like there was any issues. Even though not a horrible person, he's changed. He went and he has this great reputation of being there for people and being supportive. That's why the cast of Guardians didn't want to do the movie for the third one without him.
Right.
Not even using his script. So Disney had no choice but to bring him back.
Yeah.
And now look where he's at. He's running the show over
DC
at
Studios.
Warner Brothers for DC.
Which is, I feel, could be very
Hit or miss.
Not because of him and his reputation or his talent. It's how DC wants things run. He can turn in an amazing script. He can say, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And they're like, great, but we want more of E.
Well, listen.
You know?
This is the thing. It's like, right now, you figure, they shelved all of those other projects, but released Joker 2. And Joker 2 bombed so badly that
People walked out after 5 minutes.
because that wasn't Harley Quinn.
No.
They didn't have to strip everything away from a character that people love.
Yeah.
And
I can understand the first Joker film, making it his origin story, fine. But how many times can you have a Joker film without Batman?
but it's also not even that. It's an Elseworld story.
Yeah.
So he's the Joker, but he's not the Joker.
Right.
It's a whole big thing. And the problem is, the people that latched onto the movie, sometimes they didn't understand. This was about mental illness.
Yeah.
And the people latched on like he was a hero for going out there and being
killing people.
Yeah. As opposed to this
Shoot Maury.
and yet this one, it's a woman that's obsessed with him, that checks herself into Arkham. And yet, it's like when he's vulnerable, oh, that's a crime. A man can't be vulnerable.
Right.
Can't let his guard down, because if you're not the persona that she wanted, then she's going to turn on you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something a lot of men have issues with, is the fact that you can't let your guard down. Everybody, let's face it, the three of us, I can honestly say, the three of us all grew up with, don't cry, don't be a man, toughen up. It's like, walk it off. Mm-hmm. We weren't told, oh, show your emotions. It was, no.
Boys don't cry.
You want
Exactly.
something to cry about?
I'll
Yeah,
give you
just
something to cry about. And that's the thing. It's, now we're at a point where they want you to express your emotions. But once again, it's a turnoff for people for showing and letting down that guard.
And, you're showing your emotion. Oh, you're a pussy.
Yeah. And that's the real problem. Is
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
But people don't understand what they're talking about during the movie. And it's like, when you're bringing up a subject like that, it's something that needs to be addressed. And the fact that they did it in a way which, the musical aspect, I get it. You got two people that can sing, because Joaquin Phoenix
Yeah,
can,
he can
sing,
sing.
sing.
and we know Lady Gaga can sing. The problem is that you're slowing the pacing down to do musical numbers. But you take something like WandaVision that had the musical numbers, and it worked so well because they interwove it in where it wasn't just to be a musical.
Right, and they didn't promote WandaVision as a musical.
but you could almost feel it was.
Right.
And then having Patti LuPone,
Yeah.
which just phenomenal choice right there.
Without a doubt.
I mean, Catherine Hahn did a great job with what she did.
And she can sing too?
Oh, yeah. But Patti LuPone
Oh, yeah.
killed stuff in one take.
Yeah.
It's like there's no reason to do a second take when you've got Patti LuPone.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you want to see how many you did it in 2 takes? That's sweet. Watch this.
It's like, I'm going to do it in one.
Maybe.
She could.
I'll do it in half a take.
It's like,
half
well,
take.
no, it's you give her the
Yeah.
full take because it's like if there needs to be a second take, it's because there was
somebody else screwed up.
There was a technical issue or there was another problem somewhere.
Somebody knocked out the mic.
Yeah, which that's part of one of the problems I'm having because I got to go through the interviews that I just did at Exxxotica.
Oh, yeah.
Their audio, sometimes the mic picked up too much because I think like the camera mic was picking up
Everything.
Yeah, so
Speaking of mics, today we don't sound like you're in a well.
well, like I said, I changed the wire.
Okay,
So
good.
it's
Stick with his wire.
yeah. I think it was like because I changed the microphone and when I switched the wires, something went.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Wires are fragile. You know, that's
Yeah, but I
why.
expected to see my dog going up. Danny fell down the well again. He sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, listen. The simple fact of the matter is too. It's also we've had a little bit of a break. We were able to take some time to go through some of the technical aspects, fix certain things. You know, there's always going to be a technical issue or a glitch somewhere. But it's just a matter of how do we fix it and what do we do?
Yep.
Because we're privately funded. We're funding ourselves. So
We have funding?
And if you hear a technical
We
issue
fund
or you
ourselves?
like
Yeah.
to fund us,
We do?
please email us at
dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Now, I'm going to post on the Facebook group. I have a coffee page. So it's Buy Me a Coffee. It's for donations so that we could get more like soundproofing and stuff for the episode. I want to like if anybody's willing to donate so that this way we'll be able to have the funding to add more equipment to what we need to expand the show. It's greatly appreciated. I'll be posting that on the Facebook page. So I'm not going to hound anybody. It's
If you want to help us, help us.
Yeah.
We still say thank you.
and
the links will be shared on
Yeah.
all of our Facebook pages also.
we appreciate it. It's more a matter of helping to fund so we can get better soundproofing so that this way we improve the sound quality and also that this way we'll be able to put out a better show.
Right.
And that's the goal. The goal is just to keep improving day by day. Now, like I said, like I had the audio quality for some stuff, the microphone picked up a little too much or the camera mic picked up more than the actual mic itself. So I'm playing with the audio because I do not want to miss these interviews because these were some fun interviews. And that's the thing. Most people don't realize that Exxxotica, the adult entertainment industry, people have varying interests and they have some solid opinions on stuff. So I want to make sure that everybody gets their voice heard because I'm somebody who I appreciate all types of entertainment. And whether it's low budget cinema or like adult entertainment or like even the biggest blockbuster, I think there's a conversation to be had about just about all of it. So now we're going to go on for our next episode, though. We're going to do at least the first 3 episodes of The Penguin.
Oh, yes.
So want to watch The Penguin. We've been kind
You
of
want to hit the penguin?
I want to hit the Penguin. All right.
I've already hit
Yeah,
the penguin.
That's what you're calling it now, hitting the penguin?
in the Penguin. Yep.
Right in the penguin.
Punch in the Penguin.
Shit, got me in the beak.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I saw the makeup job for
that
Colin
one.
Farrell.
Farrell looks phenomenal.
Yeah. So
I think when I watched The Batman, I think he stole the show.
my thing is like I get the grittiness and the realism of stuff. I'm not somebody who's been big into the gangster genre of films and shows. So the reviews so far have been like, if you like The Sopranos, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a tough one for me because it's not in my wheelhouse, but I'm willing to give it a shot and we'll do at least the first 3 episodes, see how it goes, and we'll take it from there. Because by that time, by the time we record the next episode, Cobra Kai's final season should be dropping as well. So we'll have other things to talk about on top of that.
I'd also like to talk about the Jason Reitman Saturday Night.
Is it available to watch on streaming?
I think you might have to rent it, but otherwise you get a shot in the theaters. Go see it.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to promote anything until it's available for people to watch. Now, the 4:30 movie is available to
That was
watch.
a fun film.
It was. I saw it. You still got to rent it, which I'm not going to say it's not worth the rental, but it's more of a personal story. It's not the same level you would expect from a typical Kevin Smith movie.
Which I think the change, worked. I think if you go in thinking, oh, it's going to be a typical Kevin Smith film, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the switch that he did. Just it shows he's more than just dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, and
You know?
he's
It
always
worked.
He's always been more than that.
Yeah.
Because his writing has always stood above most of the actual
Right.
film techniques. But it's one of those things where you can tell it's one of the more personal stories.
Right.
It's the same. I would put it in his more personal category, like Jersey Girl.
Yes.
Where Jersey Girl is highly underrated.
Very.
It was a better movie than people gave it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
The primary issue I think most people had with Jersey Girl was it came out after Geely and Ben
Yeah,
Affleck and Jennifer Lopez in a bad movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, Jennifer Lopez dies within the first 10 minutes. You're fine.
You're fine.
Like, you're not sitting there and worrying about, I got to worry about her acting.
I wish I could have been in the production meeting when they were going over the scenes and the script for the 4:30 film, when they came up with the idea for Sister Sugar Walls, because that is his wife, that is his daughter.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
How?
Listen, it's his daughter.
It's his daughter.
The main,
And Muse.
but it's also the kid who's playing basically a young Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
That's his daughter's boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
yeah,
The fat one?
yeah. So it's one.
Odd.
I think he wants to send his daughter and keep her stuck in therapy,
Probably.
which wouldn't be
But
surprising.
supposedly, I was talking to my friend about it the other day at work, and he was like, "Oh, she wrote that trailer." I was like,
Listen, there's been so many irreverent trailers and stuff, and I mean,
But all the trailers in the 4:30 film,
Yeah.
they were all hysterical.
but that you can say the same thing if you went to the theater back a while when Grindhouse came out.
Yeah.
If you sat through Death Proof and Planet Terror as a double feature,
Yeah.
watching Planet Terror and then Death Proof, you got some crazy trailers that they weren't really made available, but they
You wish
did.
they were.
But Machete became
Yeah.
an actual movie.
Machete kills.
So, and that's the thing.
Machete kills in space.
Hey, listen, you can pretty much put,
Any trailer on anything.
yeah.
Put him in a taco. He
Carlos
has 'em.
Estevez as El Presidente.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're able to get so much out of like a small little trailer
Yeah.
that's in the movie. So these hidden little things work in certain degrees.
Right.
So, listen, the 4:30 movie's worth a rent. I will definitely tell people to rent that
Yeah,
one.
definitely see it.
I wanted to wait until we were out of spooky season, and now that spooky season's pretty much wrapped up, spooky season lives on in my heart all year long.
It's always spooky season in Danny's house.
Yes, because frankly, I'm trying to cower from the evil force that's coming.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, like you can hear the whispers.
Yeah.
It was bad enough going into Target to buy like just a few odds and ends.
And they have the Christmas stuff.
the
up.
Christmas,
Christmas-
Halloween hadn't even finished.
I went to Lowe's the other day. One half of the store is Christmas, the other half is Halloween. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yep, and that's
Same
And they
thing in
jumped
Hobby
over.
Lobby, too.
They jumped over.
ugh, Hobby Lobby.
They jumped
I know.
over Thanksgiving altogether.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
Thanks.
kicked the bird to the curb.
Yeah,
No,
Thanksgiving.
actually, BJ's is like you buy $150 of groceries and stuff, you get a free turkey. Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Now it's not a hard thing to spend the $150 on groceries.
You got a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread.
Well,
There you go.
Yeah, I know. The regular stores.
But the thing
have to
is,
do it for 400.
but this is the thing. What you have to understand is that it's like the holidays have become a war zone because Halloween is starting to try to like regain some ground, but it's starting to come out still while it's summer.
Yeah.
And Christmas is really nipping at the heels, trying to get its grip into the
In
summertime.
October.
Oh no, you can see some of
wait,
it in like
yes.
September.
Yes.
It's like kids are going back to school. Let's start thinking Christmas. Why? Listen, I love the holidays, but there comes a point when
You gotta say slow down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like stop
You'll
rushing.
get the money for your merchandise.
The problem is they're overcharging for merchandise that there's no need for. At the time of this recording, it's November 1st. So this episode will be dropping on November 3rd. So we'll have had to turn their clocks back an hour. We'll have the New York City Marathon going on. So, and I hope all the runners are warmed up very well.
Yeah, because the temperature's supposed to drop. It's like 80 some odd degrees at the recording.
And then
The Saturday
It'll be
before
40-something degrees.
40-something
when they're ready
degrees.
to run.
yeah, and you're going to be on a bridge to start. So
Yeah, you're gonna be.
good luck to all of you guys. Stay warm, stay hydrated, and hopefully you're prepared because
Yeah.
I couldn't run before. I really can't run now. It would never do that marathon.
I do it in a car.
I do it in a walk.
No, I would.
A 5K, that's it.
No. In a car is the best way of doing it. It's like I'll drive that marathon route.
I'll drive the route, no problem. I'll do it in what, an hour?
Yeah, maybe
2 hours?
on
Maybe
a
3, depending on traffic.
on a bicycle.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, at least you can coast on a bicycle.
Yeah, you take
Down
a
the
breather.
hills. Yeah, down the hill.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where and on top of also we're turning the clocks back, so that's going to throw people off too.
No, but
Yeah, that's
you throw them
usually
back on
norm
Saturday
during
or
the
Sunday?
marathon.
Saturday night at 2 a.m.
Okay.
It becomes 1 a.m. again.
Yeah.
It's time travel.
Yep. It's the one time. It's the one time of the year when we actually travel back in time.
Yep.
Which I have to blame the politicians that
I think they're
let it
trying to-
lapse. No, they let it lapse. They passed it that this was supposed to be the last like daylight savings time, but they never got anything like fully finished and signed off on. So we got to still keep doing this. I'm like, it was the one thing I could agree with every politician was able to get on board with is daylight savings is a fucking scam. There are more accidents during daylight savings time because people are more tired. They're confused. It's like you're playing catch up. You're throwing your body out of whack all for an hour. So daylight savings needs to end. And that's just a personal stance that I believe. But what we need to do is understand that, like, right now, candy's dirt cheap.
80%, 75.
Go,
Yeah.
go get your candy, folks.
Yeah,
Go get those Reese's.
Listen, I was out on Halloween and I went to the store and I'm coming back. There are kids running around carrying like bags with candy and they're not in costume.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Put a little effort in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, what are you supposed to be? I'm a YouTuber. I'm a streamer. That's
annoying.
not a costume. If it's like, put the effort in, at least put
At
a
least
mask
take a
on.
sheet, cut 2 holes in it. You're a ghost.
You're
Or
a
I've done that before.
KKK.
cut a
Or
ton,
KKK.
or put a ton of holes in it, and you're
go
Charlie Brown.
I got a rock.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are so many. It's like at least a little effort.
Yeah.
Put a cape on at the very least.
Wear a cape.
And put like a cape on and wear a Superman shirt and just say you're Superman.
Or even a Superman shirt and a pair of jeans. I'm like, oh, I'm Clark Kent changing. That'd be fine.
Yeah, you're partially through. You got the cape coming.
I got
put a
caught
cape
halfway.
on. Yeah, you got a cape coming out from underneath the suit jacket. It's like effort.
Although, speaking of, there's 2 kids at my school. I had to give them credit because Thursday we were walking, let the kids come in costume along. They don't have like masks or face paint or anything like that. One kid came as the Pope. And I'm like, and this is like, he's not like a small kid. I mean, for an 8th grader, the kid is taller than I am. I'm like, interesting. You definitely stick out in the crowd.
Yeah.
And another kid came as Moses. He had the beard, the flowing robes with the rope tied around him, and I'm like, and he came as the Mel Brooks version of Moses with the 15 commandments.
10
And one of them was
commandments.
tape. He had to tape it together. I looked at him. I go.
Okay.
I looked at him. I gave him the slow clap.
now
I go, that was perfect.
Yeah, but that took effort.
It did.
Yes.
And I'm okay
And
with that.
I'm okay. And you know what? I have to give that kid's parents credit because there's no way in hell he came up with that all on his own. His parents probably showed him the history of the world, part
Oh, yeah.
1.
Yes.
And I'm like,
And see,
that's raising a child correctly.
and that's the thing. It's, there's this, see, like I said earlier, Mel Brooks, there was the peak, and then eventually there was the die out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see somebody dressing up as like from Mel Brooks's Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Nope.
But you will see something like Moses from History of the World Part 1. So that
Comicus.
Yeah. That's the stuff that it's like a little creativity goes a long way. And I'm glad to hear that at least some kids actually dressed up. Although I will say 2 days before Halloween on Victory Boulevard, there was a guy dressed up as a Mandalorian.
Okay.
I was not expecting it. I just happened to be turning the corner,
And there you go.
I was like, okay,
Breaking it in.
it's not Halloween, but sure. It's.
I went to work as the Winter Soldier.
Of course you did.
I do. I mean,
I
that
went
was
to work
actually
as
one
a
of my
Ghostbuster.
one of my least bulky costumes that I can actually get away with
Yeah.
wearing old. And by the end of the day, I came in with like the jacket, the arm, the whole 9.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, I put the jacket's over my shoulder. I'm like, this is too hot for this shit.
And the arm, because,
I had the arm on. I kept the arm all day.
yeah, the problem is it was like 80 degrees.
In the morning, it was fine.
Yeah.
When I was doing AM duty, the morning, it was fine. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And even in some of the classes, they had the AC cranking. So I'm like, oh, fine. But once lunchtime hit and I'm outside, I'm like, fuck this. Jacket's over the shoulder. I'm like, what do you have a rope around your chest? And you see the arm?
Yep. So now we're going to wrap things up. So, Mike, want to give everybody the socials?
All right. If you want to head up the Dragoon's Lair podcast, you can do it on Instagram by following us at the Dragoon's Lair podcast. If you want to hit us up on Facebook, you can follow us at the Dragoon's Lair podcast on Facebook also. If you want to follow me, a few ways you can do it. Instagram at Hamster Pellet Productions and on Facebook at Michael Schiavo. No .com, just straight old Mike.
Really? You didn't trademark that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
All right.
It'll be an LLC.
Yeah. Jimmy, what about you? How can they get in touch with you?
Howdy, folks. You can reach me at Facebook at James Haynes IV. You can reach me on TikTok at James0925. Instagram and Threads, James H. All lowercase _ the 4th. And Snapchat, James SI0925.
Yeah, and if you want to get in touch with me, very simply, you can email the podcast at dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com, all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com. You can find me, the Blue Dragoon himself, Blue Dragoon 13, Instagram Threads, Snapchat, on Twitch. There's the link to the Discord page there. You can watch the episodes on YouTube, on Blue Dragoon 13's YouTube channel, but you can also make sure to check out the show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts, or any other podcasting platform that you can pretty much look for. Mean mugging the camera there, Mike?
Mean mugging the camera.
There you go. Now, you can make sure you drop us a like, follow the show on YouTube, and leave us reviews on iTunes. Leave us reviews. You can comment on the episodes on Spotify. I put up polls, so there are so many different ways that you can reach out to us, interact with the show, and we appreciate each and every one of you doing that. We appreciate the likes and share the episodes with other people. And just to make it clear, anybody who's watching on TikTok, which is Blue Dragoon 13, you're able to see the Reels, TikTok videos, YouTube Shorts. They're all done with Opus Clips. Not sponsored by them, just wanted to put it out there.
But if they want to give us money, we won't say no.
No.
And email us, please.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that one again. No, but using Opus Clips has helped us out by saving us some time on doing the episodes and getting out short form content to raise awareness for the episodes. So if you're liking any of those, make sure like them, follow, give us a share, or spread the word about the podcast. We really appreciate all your help out there, guys. And we appreciate each and every one of you. So we hope you had a happy and safe Halloween.
And remember, if you run into any trolls going around there, fresh Bulgarian miak, that's the way to go.
Exactly. From Miak.
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 Yeah. So with that being said, thank you all. Remember, turn your clocks back an hour. Try and get a little extra rest. And most importantly of all, fuck daylight savings. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Bye.
Later.